And are we live? What's up everybody, it's Slaan here again. I'm still fiddling around making sure I've got some extra windows ready. I need to change the title as well. I'll quickly sort that out. So continuing on the video yesterday that abruptly came to a halt, I'm going to dive back into the editor, start looking at a few of my prefabs, looking at what needs fixed. I've just downloaded the latest version of Pills Editor as well, which I've got handily in these windows. I just want to see if they come up okay. There we go. Yeah, that's on. And I'll explain that one in a second. So you've got to understand, I'm still fairly out of touch with 7 days at this point. So there's a lot of things that I kind of know, a whole bunch of things that I'm trying to remember. So after yesterday's mess around, I was just thinking I might as well just get my hands dirty and learn doing some proper fixing and stuff. And after bringing my prefabs across, I'll just flip that back over so I can see the chat. If I go into the editor, the prefabs aren't that bad actually. So this is one of my racetrack prefabs, but this one was relatively fine. So I can't even remember really content-wise what my last videos were really on. So the state of Slaan kind of became, I wasn't too sure the best way to go about world building, so I started just dissecting it and building things, building little jigsaw pieces, so to speak. It's probably the simplest way to describe it. So you'll notice I've got extra categories in here with just prefabs, just randomly lying around, city blocks. There's the bridge wall of the bridges. No previews on that one. And this is kind of what I built the city out of now. So everything's kind of there. I think ultimately I'm probably going to have to start a new map overall, but I think I'll keep the current project map that I'll probably show off in a little bit. I mean it's knackered, but once it's fixed up and the prefabs are sort of replaced, it's kind of playable. Just a bit weird, and obviously it'll have none of the newest additions from Alpha 18. No, it should have a fair few 18 prefabs actually. It'll have nothing that was built and added in 19 though. So what was I doing? Oh yeah, where are the parks? What was it? Oh no, it was the racetrack, wasn't it? Right, where we're going. So you can see in the car park preview here, all these wrecked cars, but when I load it up, they're now all missing blocks, which is a little bit annoying. And when I loaded the project map up, it seems like the game isn't loading these prefabs up at all. There was a whole bunch of things missing. And I know the terrain blocks as well. I think there's some issues with the density values on some of them, especially the asphalt roads and the highway. So that was why I kind of downloaded Pills Editor, because for all you could make a massive selection box and replace these with A and get rid of them, I've got about 500 prefabs that I need to fix, or potentially need to fix. So that's where his editor comes in. So the idea is I'm just going to copy all of my custom prefabs to a folder and then run the mass replacer on Pills Editor. Because anything that's got those red cars on, like the streets, there's a lot of these roads. Or maybe it's not some of them ones. There is some of them that have traffic on, but the highway, if I find them ones. So like the traffic, there's a few variations that all use like that ruined car, so they're all going to need fixing. And the asphalt road actually connects with the ground as well, so it's definitely density issues with them. Actually, let's load one of those up and Because they look relatively fine, but like I say, when that's a good 10-15 blocks off the floor and the asphalt just joins to the ground terrain through the solid blocks, it looks a bit weird. It's not going to collapse, I suppose, but it's not working. I wonder, actually, could we not just replace those cars? Will they keep the same meta values? I'm just wondering if I could replace those blocks, knowing that they... Where's the scrap? Yeah, so there's a random car wreck now. No, I think we'll keep it simple for now and we'll just try the block replace. So I'm going to come out of that. We'll bring Pills Editor up on top. There we go. And in the editor, I've gone to the, is it the Tools tab? Yeah. And on the Tools tab where the block replacer is, you click Advanced and it opens the exchanger. And at the minute, I think I've already got, yeah, I've got the 1625 ID plugged in. If I go back to the game, press F3 and look at one of those blocks, missing block ID 1625, yeah. So what I'm quickly going to do off stream, let's bring those folders up. Yeah, that's that one. Prefabs to fix. Yeah. So I want to do that, I want to do that, and I want to click this one down here, replace prefabs in folder. That is actually full of prefabs. Just need to select that one. Close your current prefab, all prefabs will be edited. So I'm basically turning, hopefully, all those missing blocks into zeros, which is A. We'll let that run up. Well, I'm pretty sure I don't have to reload the game just to test. In fact, I'm pretty sure I don't even have to leave the editor, but I'm going to just exit back to the main menu for now. And we'll hide the editor, hide you, prefabs to fix. Now I'm just going to copy all of those straight into the 7 days directory. Yeah, so there's like 1251 files. So you roughly divide that by about 6, I think. I think there's 6 individual files for a prefab. Replace all of those. So if this doesn't work, then I'm gonna have to go and hit the YouTube videos up myself, I think. I hope it does though. Yes. No! But that might still be... Where's the car park? That's racetrack, isn't it? Block ID, all is new. I'm sure I've done that right. Right, before I start working out what I've done wrong with that, then we might as well have a quick look at some of the other stuff that we've got here. Is the test stuff. Remnant. That's not mine. So what's that? I think this was stolen from Lasman's prefab, but I used those in the military air base. You know, nice and simple. Saves you 10 minutes of building. This is why copy and paste is the king, especially in the world editor, because as you'll see in a bit, I take liberties with that. And that was kind of the idea with us not being too sure what I was doing with the map, is just to at least have all these reusable pieces. Ah, no, the hangar I don't think spawns, because that's got hidden blocks as well. For just F3. That says conduit. Am I even looking at that? $16.25, so they are all the same IDs, but that definitely wasn't a wreck car. The runway. Oh god, they've been replacing corner blocks now as well. Yeah, so I can see why a lot of the prefabs haven't loaded in the world. Tell you what, let's just exit the editor. Is it the project test? Yeah. Or am I better off going into the world editor? We'll do it in the world editor. I'm just thinking I won't. It'll be a bit quicker to load up. Project test. Why can't I load you up? Oh, oh. Okay then. I think it's because I copied everything into a different worlds folder just to see if I could load it up, and I just created a new single player game. So I think it's generated the world okay for this one. There's probably a whole bunch of broken shit that I just haven't seen, but like I say, this is literally day 2 of just digging back through the old project things. Yeah, feel a little prefabs. So there's just a few missing, eh? Like I say, I'm not worried so much about that stuff. If we close that off, oh, we're right next to the military base. Yeah, so they changed a few of their prefabs as well, but they kept the same name, so this is looking a bit weird. But let's just fly north. Because all the prefabs that don't have missing blocks have still spawned fine, so you still get the fancy little runways. But yeah, this was the barracks prefab, and it used to be, wait, it wasn't this good. They're actually overlapping now. But yeah, they seem like they've changed quite a bit. But that's the planes that I had mentioned as, there's still quite a bit in, I suppose. If you look at the map, we'll take that off. So that's when you start to see they're just all individual prefabs dropped all over the place. Oh, what's going on over here? Yeah, so we're missing quite a bit. That's obviously changed a bit as well. It's got its own little minefield. Is it still? So I mean, for the most part, it's the only thing really lost in terms of this map is the work put into the terrain itself and the canyons and stuff. But there's still big chunks of the city in there. We're definitely missing a lot of buildings. Oh, I've actually got one piece of pork. What's what FPS like? Oh, that must be a broken prefab or something there. So lots of streets, but not much in between. Ah, the bridges. Except the bits that have had car wrecks on, they're not there anymore. The water looks a lot nicer. It's very red. So yeah, I mean the map itself is pretty fucked, but I don't know. I think it still serves as a good sort of demo of what you can actually do with the prefab pack, because I think, or I worry sometimes people just say all these random little things and kind of think, well, what's the point, or how do I use that? And so you spend 200 hours in the editor manually placing stuff down, and you build something precise. Oh, nice, the skyscraper's still there. Yeah, so some of the terrain blocks densities are definitely a little bit wonky. What are they actually joining to? I'm pretty sure though I can just. I remember speaking to Pill about this a little while ago, wait, about a year ago, during the 18 experimental when this happened. And I'm fairly certain I can just reset all the blocks to a certain value, like 0, and it'll just stop doing that. But yeah, the majority of the prefabs that I have actually spawned are just vanilla prefabs. And again, they might not fit if they've changed them. So yeah, maybe it's not as playable as what I first thought, but I still think we can build something good with all the bits that are left. What we got over there? Oh, there was another bridge, wasn't there? Oh God, no ref, no ref. So again, it looks like the terrain is getting sucked up to the roadway. But this one would just collapse anyway, so as soon as you break something, the whole lot comes down. I don't know, did I send these supports all the way to the floor? Yep. Don't even think, I'm sure the hospital and everything was there. I know the hospital was there. You see, I see all these colours and stuff like that in the vanilla prefabs now and don't even know where that came from or what it is. But I mean, I can guess obviously the green stuff must be gravel, but I don't know why that's blue. The highway. So yeah, I spent ages drawing the canyons and stuff like that, but I mean, when it comes to rebuilding a new map, there's a lot of mistakes and things that you would do differently anyway. Racetrack, is that? Yeah, so this is where the car parks and that were for. Big, massive car park area. Portaloos. I mean, the smoothness isn't perfect, but you could drive around this either way on any of the vehicles, I think. So yeah, I've got a lot of work to do. I think the main thing is for me now is we'll get on to. Oh, hello, Oak. I've just had a glance over and seen you typing there. Uh, Yeah, the sewer system became a kind of a running theme that we just every time they changed the ways the city's made, I changed the prefabs until we got to a point we couldn't use the city blocks. So that is, in fact, I think I've actually got. So I mean, the old Slaan Hatton, the city was just divided, roads, everything in between into just big single sections. Whereas now, I just drop everything down. I put all the pieces together. It's a lot more flexible. So you can see, I mean, it looks like just one bridge and a prefab, but really even the bridges are like 12 prefabs. And I'm pretty sure all of these here are actual sewer runs. Yeah. So the only thing with this sewer system is there's no... Oh, we can't get the prefab menu here. I'll dive back into the editor in a couple of minutes and I'll show you the full set. Because the master file for the prefab contains basically all of the pieces and they're all color coded so that the different tunnels and pieces can fit together. And they're in a perfect state for people to just pick up, copy and paste, add, change a few things, wreck a wall, you know, do whatever it is you want, and you can just add that piece to the set. But I mean, there's not a lot to really show in this, but we'll dive back into the editor and I'll show you what I mean with the sewers. Because I was only getting to a point where I was starting to put them in, but I never made a way for you to travel between the sewer and the road level. I wasn't too sure on how I would do that. Prefab editor. But yeah, I spent quite a bit of time on the sewers and then I never actually really used them for much. But I always kept them in the state that they're in because, like, you'll see when I load it up, but they are perfectly usable, ready to be used. It's just a case of planning the layout and then deciding what you want to make out of it. But this is the beautiful thing with the pack. All you've got to do is add the prefabs to your prefabs folder and you'll get all of these subcategories. So there, I made this in Alpha 17. And it was just a base set of pieces that you could expand on. So you've got the main red pit bits here that are a certain width that carry a sort of link and pipe pattern. And they're just designed that any red piece would fit to any red piece and not really look off, except this one. But that looks like I've copied another section in, ready to make a variation. And it means I can, every time I want to make an individual prefab, which is what I've done, I just copy each individual piece out into a new prefab. And that's what all of these are. And this was where it was like when you're actually dropping them. I think you're probably, I mean, are we talking like Alpha 12, Alpha 13? Because that sounds like when the cities used to be made with the city blocks with the 4 prefabs on, because that was kind of the best system that we've had in terms of how usable, and you could just make this massive subsystem. But like you say, there was no zombies, it was just free loot and hiding on Horde Night. But bits like this was more getting a bit more creative. So when you've got a long street, it was because it doesn't take much to change things up a little bit. And it was every time I got bored of doing something else, I would maybe come back to the sewers, copy a few new sections in, and just make 2 or 3 new prefabs. But yeah, the Alpha 12.5 was really good. 12.5 was probably the pinnacle of Slaan Hatton because you could really take the piss in terms of just whole bunches of shit in the city into the prefabs. And because we didn't have the distant terrain and the imposter sort of prefabs, it, performance wasn't really that bad. But as soon as we started getting nice looking zombies and sleepers, it was just like, nah, I had to totally redesign that idea. But I would love to use the sewers for something. But like I say, it's just it's it's a base set of pieces just ready to be used. But it's not a bad place to be in. I mean, I could never decide from around about the end of Alpha 15. Once they totally broke random gen to the point where I knew, yeah, the cave. I don't miss just randomly walking through a cave and then just 10 minutes later, after the lag spike ends, you're in a huge crater. But yeah, the caves were pretty cool. But I don't know, I like that they try and push her away from just Minecraft style strip mining and things like that. I think the game got a lot more interesting when it became about the scavenge and actually tearing prefabs down. Though admittedly, I haven't played much survival in 18 or well at all in 19. I just really enjoy building the maps. But I think I'll keep my project map as a means to sort of experiment and show off how you can use the little prefabs. Yeah, the caves where you would just slide down there and you'd just be stuck. And it would just always be on those times when you happen to not have a pick with you or a shovel. There is a lot of prefabs here though. But even things like the bridge, I'm going to have to sort of redesign the idea of how you're going to make it supportable without losing the sort of fancy pattern that it's made out of. Because I mean, these bits are fairly solid, but the support sections just once you break something, not the support sections, the rope bits. This is probably one of my favourite prefabs. In fact, oh, did I have the skyscrapers in there as well? Ah, so that's what I was fucking around with yesterday. That's the broken one. I'm sure I've done a black skyscraper. But this as well, this has been carried forward since Alpha 12.5, I think. I think this is the oldest prefab that I have. I don't think they know what they want to do with water, to be honest. And I don't know, I mean, even since I upgraded to PC, you've always seemed to be battling performance with everything anyway. So it's just a question of if they've done something really fancy with water, would you have it enabled, and is it going to kill the game? Because for all I think, performance-wise, it's quite nice for us now. I've never really been on a high game stage horde night when shit's going down and the turrets are on and the blades are spinning, torches everywhere. And there's not much in there. But yeah, these here were kind of my variation on their old city block system, except I would just build them to fit the like the gaps in between the roads. Holes just designed to fit the prefabs that would go there. I don't know what state my XML's in as well, because the actual prefabs XML on the for the project map I loaded might be missing a bunch of things. I just it's been that long since I've really dug through all my stuff. What I really need to do though is figure out why the editor didn't change all those blocks. There's loads of fancy things you can do with these editor now that I haven't stayed on top of. I think that's half of what put us off really taking a look at stuff again, is just nitrogen is something else that I really need to look at before I do any work on a new map, just to see how like much time I can save myself, how practical is it going to be to use, and can I do the same kinds of things. There's a lot of stuff. Right, so far. See, I love it how like Some prefabs are just complete and ready to use, just fine. And then others, just because I used a broken car, totally dead. I think I need to spend some time nuking all those wonky densities. I might have a little quick Google now actually and see. Oh my god, you're getting Alpha 15 posts on the forums. They aren't going to be helpful. 0. Yeah, I'm sure it's 0. I mean, I think for the time being, unfortunately, it's going to be a few wonky videos like this. It's a lot easier for us to flick the button and just stream now, so I think when I've got interesting things to do, I'll just flip it on. Even just build away, have a bit of a natter. Laugh at people trying to decipher which cryptic version of English I speak. The thing with this though is really is where to start. But I know what I need to do. What did I call it? Skyscraper, wasn't it? Which one is this? Oh wait, okay, so that was when I'd stripped the walls off. And that's the big one. Right. Because I'm pretty sure. Oh. Oh. Clean densities. Now, what the hell does that do? In fact, before I do it, I'm just trying to think of how in my head the quickest way to get it into a game world, just to have a look to see if it's going to do what I think it's going to do. The only thing is if it resets the densities and you have blocks in there that require certain densities, which I don't think I do. Yeah, I don't suppose it's too bad for English people picking up the air Geordie. I suppose I have to remind myself not to break into slang sometimes. But I'm just going to take, where's the base sections? Traders, traffic. Right. Because I'm fairly certain the problem with these prefabs is either I'm sure it's the asphalt, and because I made every section of fucking highway from this piece of highway, they've all got the problem now. But I'm pretty sure the density issue. Can I actually see the densities if I? Yeah, minus 128. That's not right. So hold on. I was never too good with densities. I remember Lasman posted a weird little formula where you could calculate what you would need to do to make a ramp depending on how long you wanted the ramp to be and how steep. some weird shit, and then Pill goes and sculpts the whole bottom of a fucking ship, the bow shape and everything, out of terrain blocks, fucked around with densities. And like, what kind of calculator do you have to buy to fucking draw a ship? Now where was it? Reset densities. Clean densities, sorry. Okay, it made a noise. Oh, am I going to have to do it in a selection box? Or do we show the dynamic, then highlight it? Clean densities. 128 still doesn't, minus 128 still doesn't seem right. What if, what prefab am I messing around with here? Highway straight NS46. Right, I'm gonna get rid of that. I'm just going to delete one of these roads asphalt and then replace it. J, yep. And what? Is asphalt a block now? What the fucking hell is this? Oh, it just looks like a block. Yeah, okay, well, that says minus 128. 127, is that what the problem is? Right, either way, let's save that. Just to see if clean density's actually done anything. Execute. Da, da, da. Pre-gen, you'll do. Now I'm sure I can still delete and add prefabs to this. So the idea being to load in that section of highway, save it to the world, reload the world, and see if it sucks itself up to the road again, or... I want to do it. Or just here. Load into. So my understanding is I press save, it adds this prefab in this rotation to the prefab's XML. And I could go and verify that, but I'm just gonna exit. Whatever. Pre-gen. There we go. No. Wonder why that is. There's the other solution to the problem. If I get this off, I don't think we'll have an asphalt texture though, do we? This roofing, which is a bit of a shame. Now I'm pretty sure this can be fixed with densities. I remember rotations being not being iffy, just the order that you put things in, because the rotation. So when you think a prefab in its XML has a value of 0 to 3, I believe, for how it's rotated when the game puts it in via random gen. When the editor spawns the prefab in and you rotate the prefab, you're rotating it a different way. Like it's like it's using a different set of numbers. So you might press X twice, which would you think would be the value of 1. Like 0 would be normal, 1 would be your first turn, 2 would be totally flipped around. But when you come to saving the prefab, it's like, oh, you've saved it as 2, which might not be that actual rotation. I know what you mean. It's hard to explain, but I know exactly what you mean because I remember, especially when you're laying down like 30 sections of highway at a time. Luckily, though, you can just go into the XML and change that one value, but it gets a bit weird. I've never really been one for using the rotation in the prefabs XML. I've always, when I've put it onto the world's prefabs XML with the coordinates in, rotated it there. But I don't know, sometimes you might want a particular side to always be facing a certain way, depending or regardless of where it spawns, so it might be useful to set it in the rules of the prefab itself sometimes. But this has genuinely got us baffled, to be honest. Because the the worrying thing about the highway is this is another one where there's probably blocks lingering around in here that have been painted and replaced, but are still potentially carrying meta values from round about alpha 40. So it's I know I used to mess around with densities to try and smoothen the terrain blocks where they meet solid blocks. But no, I love the world editor. I mean, it's once you've got a nice set of prefabs to just use and place down, and you've got a space set aside to do it in. I mean, you could even just delete all of these prefabs out of here, keep the same road system, and start fresh. Just remake it. You've got a nice map. You know, it's already done for you. You take things like the sewer prefabs and the design to fit. The streets are designed to fit 9 and 11, the main two thicknesses that they use on their roads. And just drop the sewer prefabs underneath. You just need to have a way to climb down there. I think I'm probably going to have to start looking at the densities of these blocks though. But since my mass batch replace didn't work through the editor, I think there's probably a few things I need to work on using that as well. I might have to get on a Discord and ping a few messages. Because yeah, I think I'll always use the highway in some shape or form. To be honest though, even on the random gen worlds, I found spending a couple of hours in the world editor before you sort of make the game live, just tweaking and shifting things around, filling in some of the gaps. It's not like it does a terrible job. I just think the quality of your map just depends how much effort you're willing to put into it yourself, really. Or how much effort you're waiting to let somebody else put into it. There'll definitely be things that I'll miss about my project map with the canyon and stuff, but I've seen people make some really fancy height maps. So it shouldn't be hard to get hold of a decent one. And why are they red? Red for asphalt. Are they just colouring different types of blocks? Is that just like terrain filler or something? Concrete. That's some weird form of terrain concrete. Interesting. Concrete terrain? What do you know? Shut up, Squealer, you fucking idiot. How have you got time to be watching videos like this? Are you not fishing on RuneScape? I've always allowed for a certain amount of repetition, but I know what you mean. Sometimes I always thought the game was missing like realistic streets, like in that, like for the residential areas. I mean, you look out your window, or at least I look out my window, and I see the same house over and over again for streets and streets on end. And I know we don't want to directly copy that amount, but I think you can build up your residential areas a lot nicer than what the game makes up randomly. Need to get out of this shit though. We'll have another little sniff around the densities on the blocks, because like I say, I'm sure it's a density issue. F3. So they're all 127, and then that's minus 128. So, because this is the one thing that was kind of missing from the in-game editor. I was quite impressed in 16 when we got the ability to just totally abandon the third-party stuffs in some ways. But so like in Pill's editor, I would do this exact same thing, just highlight that layer, and then I would just click a little button for the value of the density of these blocks and just ping, they're all done. How do I do that here? I'm sure I'm using this clean densities thing wrong as well. So I press that there. -128. And then we'll try it here. 127. I don't know. That does not look like it's doing anything. Or maybe it's just not being used for what I think it is, which is probably the case. Let's check the documentation. Yeah, okay. Now I think I need to hit the forums up for the lessons on densities. See, when I was doing my project map, when you were saying there about all the petrol stations, I found before I started putting the prefabs in, I just had the terrain in the road grid, and then the few sort of random towns that it had made. No, I'm still playing WoW. It's just waiting for pre-patch really. It was I was talking to another guy who plays 7 days and hosts a server, and I don't know. I just got a bit of an itch to dig through some of my old stuff. I was having massive issues on this monitor, getting decent performance with WoW, but I found a wicked little guide on Steam, and I'm like 100 FPS all the time now. It's awesome. So I thought, right, I can finally play the bloody thing again. I might as well have a little faff on. Plus, I'm sick to, well, I'm not sick to death, but it's just like I put WoW videos up and I stream WoW, and people just ask us about 7 days. So it's like I need to get back into 7 days. I think maybe it's not whore it like I always have done, but I've been sitting staring at my prefabs for a while now, just thinking you need to do something with them. You know, it's I've made all these pieces and I've built nothing. I've built very little, just little demonstration areas. Really, that's all we've got in the project map. But no, I'm looking forward to pre-patch in WoW. But even in pre-patch, there's not going to be a huge amount of stuff to do. It's not going to be until Shadowlands drops properly before I'll be wanting to sort of smash that in again. But I don't know. Much to the dismay of hardcore gamers around the world, WoW caters really well at casuals these days, so it's not too bad. Right, you're gonna have to bear with me for 5 minutes, guys. I'm absolutely desperate for the loot. Hello, hello, I'm back. Full of coffee, gotta go. So, I really can't be asked to go digging through the forums at the moment. So, I just want to have a look at some of my other stuff and see if there's... Give myself about an hour. We'll start a fresh idea. Or we'll build something new out of something old. Set something away. Actually, I know what I want to do. Just discard that change. I don't care about that. Right. Give us the ground. And I want a new prefab. So I think sometimes you've got to focus on the little things. Coffee's my lifeblood, squealer. You should know this. In fact, will it matter? Not matter where I dump this. I'll just get it down. But yeah, sometimes it's nice just to do a full prefab from start to finish, even if it's something small. So knowing that I'm going to have to do something with the suspension bridge, I want to make something out of one of the supports. Will we do that one? I'm kind of thinking we'll maybe make a trader. And then it means if I built the trader on the support and we're having so much road that come off, we can protect it with a trader area without having to make the whole bridge a trader area. Now that'll stop people, because the problem that you have is it'll stand unsupported perfectly fine until someone breaks a block, and then I think at that point it recalculates the structural integrity of everything, and boom, down it goes. So the little cheat of making the bridge a trader, which someone else had messages about quite a while ago, they got around it by just making the whole bridge a trader area, but it meant that you couldn't break any blocks at all. So it's an interesting concept, but what I was kind of thinking, where are the supports? There's, could we feasibly, would a trader feasibly in an apocalypse secure a little area like this? Oh god, we're missing ladders on this one. How do they get up? Oh yeah, that's right. Uh, because the other problem I have is, well then again, these pillars are designed to intersect, so maybe that won't be an issue. I'm just thinking to myself, how would if I built this prefab, I'm confined to the size of this prefab, unless I also modify the left and right piece that go with it, so that they all fit, which I don't mind doing. But realistically, the bridge would be done as a doubler, So that would be two of these, and it might be a bit more feasible to have to build these little trading thing across both of them. So that's no support at all. So I suppose I could, because these are fairly stable. When the bridge collapses, it only collapses to about here. The actual supports on this part are fairly sound. So I'm thinking we'll put a crane on the road. We'll make it look like he's parked the crane somehow, and a bit like the one that's on the highway, we'll have the main trader unit sort of suspended and off to the side, like floating up here. And then we'll maybe barricade up the stairs. Little barriers maybe. Right, okay then, so what was this one? Section 04. God damn, that's big. Why? Has it placed the full prefab? Has it not? I'll tell you what, let's just do it again. Place it a bit more in the middle. Oh, the mesh files for these things are going to be absolutely terrible to make. So what do I now? Place prefab. That's better. Right, so we're going to get rid of that. Are we happy with this? Yes. So this one will go. We'll just make a section 09, I think. Done. And then, oh, it's because I haven't set the groups, have I? How do I do that again? Come on. It was that. Yes. Bridges. And do we not have a trader group? Oh, fuck it, we'll just leave it in there for now then. So now if I go to here, why is it not there? Oh, because I haven't saved it. There we go. The reason I do that is you'll notice it recenters the prefab. So like, if for example you want to do a load of work to it and then set your imposter block the mesh file would be offset because it would have took the imposter block from its old location on the old prefab, but it'll try and center itself once it's saved and loaded back up. So not that you're ever going to build a full prefab without saving and setting the imposter. Right, but for now that's looking okay. So we need a crane. And wouldn't it be handy if you had a little construction section that actually just had cranes in ready to use? Hey, we're going to have to be a bit careful with it though. So we want it this level. I'm going to spawn it off to the side. Because the one thing that you've got to remember when you bring in prefabs into bits of prefabs, it's going to spawn north and east from this point, but it's hard to tell from the picture, is that an east-west prefab? So if I spawn that in there now, in fact, I'll show you what I mean. So I can move it out and then place it. Or place a piece of it. Why the fucking hell does it do that? Right. The point I was going to make is when it comes to rotating it, if you rotate it through your prefab, it's going to just delete anything that it passes through, and then you're going to rotate it out and you're going to be left with a big hole. So you've got to be quite careful when you're adding things in. Save often. I need to get rid of those bloody boxes. And then we need to get rid of this. It's not even there. This is why we save little and often. Discard changes. Come on. Come on. Right. Let's try that again. Let's just do it normally on the ground though. Construction. Crane. Load in now. Yeah, I'm an absolute thieving bastard when it comes to little things like this. Someone will make a cool prefab and I'll be like, oh, that's a really well done bin. Let's just copy and paste that little bit out and make a little prefab out of it. Place. Why aren't you working? It's not even like the system's getting battered or anything. Yeah, it's just like the clipboard in games just fucking up. Just waiting for the 12 minutes later. Load into place prefab. Place the fucking prefab. Is this prefab actually broken? Right, I tell you what, it's obviously not playing nice. Lovely. Right. That's better. No caps lock. Is it G? Yeah. I mean, fucking hell, I've got to rotate and copy this yet. So, oh, come on, you're having me life, yeah. Like, seriously. Where's that fucking undo button? Doesn't look very undone. I'm detecting a pattern here, like. Notice it has unsaved changes. There's half a fucking bridge. The only time I've ever had issues with this type of stuff is when I was copying and pasting massive, massive sections of prefab. Right, we're going to try the dirty grey crane instead. So, place prefab. What the fucking hell? Oh, okay. We don't have to save it if it fucks up, but we could possibly make it work like this. Oh, 2 seconds. So when I press, so I've loaded the prefab in. Now, if I press X, I can rotate this before I would spawn it, but once it's rotated, it will spawn. Oh, that's how it used to work. Boom. Just like that. Right, right, right. That's a fairly decent size as well. So let's. I hate it, how the save text is behind that fucking hotbar. Give you one, take away with the other. So what's going on with that? Am I missing stuff again? How did you climb up this thing? Maybe you didn't. Right, so I've saved that. Let's just reload that. So now this is where it's going to get interesting. I need to make sure that I get the whole thing as well. area to see them. Oh, is that everything? Yes, right. Now I'm going to copy this with an extra bit of A at the back, and then rather than delete everything, hopefully that'll just slide it along and erase any little overlapping bits. So Control and C, because I'm having such a good track record with the copy and paste. Oh, you fucking idiot. Right, okay, we can fix that easy enough. Okay, so now we'll have to modify that crane, I think. Interesting, we didn't get the... We'll leave it like that, I think, for now anyway. I was just thinking we didn't get the crane sort of rope. Got rid of that horrible little thing. Now next... What way do we face here? North, south? I bet you I can get me trader from the highway trader. East, west. Oh, all the traders were east, west. Okay. Okay, that's not how I remember leaving it. I think they might have changed the size of those drawbridges. Well, either way, I still want all of this. Slaan, you're so lazy. We could keep it that way. I'm just wondering, do I want to copy that? We'll see what we get. We'll just go straight into the bridge. Where will we do it here? It shouldn't be too big. Nice. Right. So let's rotate you. And it needs to be. Then again. No, I'm going to have to keep it, otherwise that bit at the top's not going to fit. So if that's the case, is that the drawbridge on that side? Yeah. So now I'm just going to copy that. Will we be brave? We'll just delete it. Alright. But now I'm thinking it's far too low. So we're going to keep the dish. We're going to delete that section out. Copy you. Delete. I think that still needs to be a bit higher though, really. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we can use some frames or something. In fact, we might just leave the door shut on the side and make it so that you climb in and out at the top. There's a plan. I mean, how the fucking hell this is going to stay up when you climb its side? Though trader protected if we double this up at the bottom. Maybe put a slope on 2 blocks thick. That used to be the usual cheat. Copy. Because I think ultimately, if I can't get the bridge fully supported, then we need to tactically wreck it and maybe incorporate things like where it goes over the river, incorporate rocks and I don't know, big shipwrecks or something as secret disguised supports. So that there's always a way across, but without. I mean, obviously, if people take the piss breaking things, everything's going to fall. But you should be able to at least burst a bloody Shamway crate open without collapsing the entire bridge. Oh, we've even got the trader there as well. I wonder if he's rotated correctly. Right, so let's get rid of the. I might just build a rickety wooden structure to look like we couldn't really pile cars or traffic that high. Though at the same time, it could be decorative, and we could still house the trader on the main structure there. Right, let's see if I oh, double doors now. Whee. Oh, we've missed a wall. Okay. Ah, I don't want to do that. Yeah, that's the one. Right. No, we can't use that. get this bloody... There we go. Yeah, we'll have to have a couple of corners on there, I think. Okay, so let's see that again. Oh god, 2 seconds. Oh, I'm back. Just checking the state of the old dinner, making sure it's not on fire. Right. Yes, I'm not going to have too much time left for this stream now. I need to sit and think of something to tactically dump down here. Or do we just make this decorative? And then when people come jump down, it just collapses. And they only fall a little way. If you're crazy enough to jump down. Because we can clear some of these walkways off. We can easily build and make this top area interesting enough for a trader. I think I want to replace these stairs with wooden ones. Maybe it look like a bodged up made walkway to get out down onto the roof there. Because in theory, if they can't break any blocks, as long as it's stable enough to walk on without collapsing, then we shouldn't have to worry too much about the entire thing collapsing. What the hell is that? Missed a bit. So that's a little trader there. I'm sure that's the block for him. And what were they called? Catwalks. Can I cheat with these, I wonder? So if I make some space. Get rid of that. I'm pretty sure this should line up quite nicely. Ah, support bars are in the way. Right. Well, if that's the case, then maybe we just have to. No. Right. What the hell is that? Oh, it's an I-beam. Ah, okay, I'm gonna need to make a little bit of floor space there. Oh god damn it, I'm gonna have to do another one along. Copy. Oh man, I'm gonna have to go all the way along. We might as well just make bloody a platform down to the door at this rate. Hmm. Now the cheaty bit. Because it used to be, as long as you didn't break anything, two rows thick wouldn't collapse when walked on, even if it wasn't super safe. think those stairs should be relatively stable. No, actually, we're gonna. That's just a block. Because we'll put some aerials and other shite and decorations up on the top. Make it look like he's wired the place up. We'll have to be very careful with the terrain. I'm beginning to think maybe I need to make a little mini mod pack of custom blocks that are just invisible and have really good structural stability. So I can make a couple of invisible pillars here and there just to hold things up. No, don't control V. No. G. I mean, bearing in mind these pillars offer no support as long as there's nothing beneath them, but that's something that I would probably remedy in the world editor. I'm just thinking I should have maybe dismantled sections of this bridge and then make it use like the cranes being used to maybe pull some pieces off, and I don't know, we'll have a think. A few traffic barricades, some wooden fencing, trader sign. Yeah, it's definitely not something you see every day. But I don't know, it's good to have a little fuck around, I think, now and again, just mess around. Yeah, I'll tell you what I didn't do. Right. Let's see. There is no imposter yet. Yeah, it was fucking horrible. It took me bloody ages to fix these mesh files. So some parts of the bridge are like absolutely perfect. I spent loads of time on them. it's easy fixable. Sorry, it just takes a little bit of time. That's all. Thankfully, not everything's broken. It's just these angled parts when you see them neat and tidy, no jagged edges from that kind of distance. You can see the whole shape of the bridge. For you. Save that. So, just in case you didn't know, that is stairways here that you climb all the way up on both sides of each of the legs. So, I'm thinking we could build a little sheltered area here where the trading and vending machines would go. Barricade with one of these big doors so you can drive your mini bikes and your vehicles in. And maybe just build the other wall here, the other gateway. Keep it all on this prefab. So with those thrilling, lovely ideas in mind, I'm going to call it now because I'm absolutely starving. I'll maybe pick the stream back up later on, I'm not too sure. If not later on, then definitely later on in the week. Going to do some research on some of the things that I was getting stuck on with the prefab editor. I'll have a little mess around because really before I move forward and do any more map work, I need to get all these little bits fixed up. The prefab editor at this point kind of feels like it used to. We've got a few like measure prefab cost. There's all sorts of extra things in there that weren't there the last time, so maybe I'll get around to recording some proper videos and tutorials again, but I think before I do that I need to get a little bit better at it myself. But until next time, I'll catch you later.